Good morning, Chris Jadick, Director of Communications for TBARTA. I'm here to give you a technology briefing regarding streaming capability and conference room capabilities for our meetings. So I want to start today with the good news, the capability that we have. When we're at PSTA or when we're at HART, we benefit from great technology and capabilities. We have a conference phone, we have camera systems wired up, we have a control room back there behind that door. Bob Lasher is actually helping us out today, so we benefit from all of that. And that allows us to stream live, and it allows us to have good conference phone capability and connection. Our meeting schedule for 2020 is set, and 9 of the 12 meetings are going to be at either PSTA or HART. So we should feel confident that we have good streaming and phone capabilities for those 9 meetings. The other 3 meetings are set for Manatee, Hernando, and Pasco counties. The next one in January, we're going to be in Manatee County. I've already reached out to the technology people there. They contract out with Manatee Educational TV. They can provide live streaming services. There will be an expense of $1,000 for that, so we've made plans to do that. We're checking into the phone possibility because there's a difference between a conference phone, as you see here, and what is known as a speaker phone. I'll talk about that a little bit more. I'm told that Manatee County does have a phone available. We have to make sure it's a conference phone and have to make sure that it's operable. I will do a site survey in the next week or so to make sure that that is up and running. If we have an issue there and we think we might have some phone problems, which I don't anticipate, but if we do, we've got time to make sure that we reschedule to a room that does have robust phone capability. Hernando County will be in May. Last year when we went there, they had video capability, but not streaming capability. I was not on board when we went to Hernando County, but I have some contacts there. I'll be reaching out and doing the same to see what our phone and TV capability is. And then in Pasco County, which we have some immediate experience with, we know we have the streaming capability there, but we did have a personnel issue that day. As they say, the chain is only as strong as the weakest link, but now that we know that, we'll be able to address that next time. And I would like to thank Pasco County because they scrambled and they recorded that meeting for us, which is now posted on the TBARTA website. So if you go to our YouTube channel or our website, you have access to that meeting. We did post it after the fact. The phone in Pasco County, that's the one thing we have to talk about a little bit more. And I think that might be the more critical issue here because increasingly we're relying on phone connectivity. What we found out is that the phone in the Pasco County room was a speaker phone, not a conference phone. And so phones that are set to speaker are really just designed for one person to use hands off. You're sitting at your desk, you can put it on speaker. It's not robust enough as a conference phone to do noise canceling or basically gather the sound and allow for dialogue and conversation. Generally, conference phones such as this have to be hardwired in. They need an internet protocol or they need an analog. I'm looking in to see, is there a portable conference phone that we can take to venues? I've not been able to find that so far. So I think that if phone is an increasing requirement for our meetings, we need to make that a priority in the meeting locations that we set. That brings us back around to Tampa International Airport where we were last month, which I think was a great venue. It was great to be out in public, to be seen like that. But we need to understand that that was an event space. It was not a meeting room. And so when we went in there, everything we have here, we didn't have the benefit of. There was no audio capability, no TV, no phone capability as well. So we basically started from scratch. The microphones that we had set up for that meeting, we contracted out because TSA was able to provide 2 microphones. Their recommendation was that we have 1 mic for a speaker and that the board just passed around a microphone when they wanted to talk. And I think you can all appreciate that would not have been a very good experience for us to have an open dialogue. So we contracted out. It was $2,700 to use the preferred vendor to bring in somebody. They came in at 5:30 in the morning. We set all those microphones up so we could have a good audio experience. If we wanted to stream, it would have been an additional $3,000 to stream from that venue. It was possible, but the technology required for something like that to make sure you have good audio and video is not something that I would recommend TBARTA get in the business of buying that type of equipment. I could go into detail on that, but the reality is that while we could do that, I don't think we see ourselves as remote production people who are going from place to place in public venues. We can revisit that if you'd like to, but that would be expense and capability for a couple meetings a year that may be a little bit beyond what we do. I do think when we want to do that, if we want to go to a public event space, we should then contract with an outside firm, get some bids on that, and ascertain if the cost is something we want to undertake. So I want to leave you here today with really 3 recommendations. The first recommendation is that First, conference phone capability be determined and ascertained prior to setting a location for any of our TBARTA meetings. That's increasingly becoming an important part of how we communicate. Second, I would recommend that TBARTA board members who want to join these meetings using the phone use a landline whenever possible. I do realize a lot of times we're on our mobile phones, you may be in transit, so it's certainly possible to do that. But for the best connection, if you're at a desk and can use a landline, we're going to have a better connectivity even when we have a conference phone. And the third item would be that in any time we go to, say, Manatee, Hernando, Pasco County, or another location, we access and ascertain what the existing technology is, the personnel. We utilize that to our best ability, but then we take steps to contract out and fill in the blanks and fill in the gaps when it comes to either live streaming or the conference phone capability. The bottom line, we can, based on expense, pretty much stream anywhere that we want to go. We have not found a solution for a conference phone that would enable us to go to all the different locations we might want to go. HART, PSTA, I feel reasonably secure, but I do think that we're going to have to take into consideration the phone capability of the location before we book those locations for our meeting.